I man, it's crazy because today was a day. It was really the only chance I had to catch up on all my anime because I was off of work today.
Mm-hmm.
Dog, I was binging like a madman. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like some of the other shows suffered though, which kind of sucks. We'll
Oh,
get to that later.
some of the shows you want to watch suffered from you not being able to watch, or just
Me watching so much anime in one day.
oh, so you couldn't give it the attention it deserved.
Yes, yes.
I get it. Yeah. I don't know. I don't necessarily feel that way, but it might have just been a bad episode, bro.
It could be, but
yeah.
then again, though, I'm all right. Let's just start.
Let's get started.
Oh, before we start though, let me tell you about a podcast I've been listening to though.
Oh, okay, because I just picked up a new one too. But go ahead.
This podcast is such a just I don't want to generalize, so I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say, but it's called My Favorite Murder.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so dope. It's these two women. They're kind of like they kind of put like a comedic spin on them, just bringing different murder stories to each other, and they just talk about it. And that shit is so interesting. Like just hearing about these different murders and the way they do their research is dope because they do enough research to put it basically in story form, and they kind of tell it in story form with these comedic beats to it. But it's such a middle-aged woman podcast though. I just feel I feel weird listening to it sometimes.
So I just started listening to this podcast I found. So I entered I entered our group, our podcast into this like this podcast movement.
Yeah, I
on Facebook
that.
or whatever. And it's pretty dope, you know. Hopefully we get some extra views from it or whatnot.
True.
But I found this podcast. It's another couple of like black nerds, right? And or black geeks, whatever they want to call themselves. And their group is called, or their podcast is called Mega Sheen. And they just did Comic-Con, all that kind of stuff. They talk about gaming, anime, cartoons, all that kind of stuff, right?
Dope.
But they describe themselves as two black I guess non-gender conforming guys. And yeah, I mean overall though, like where the like bad stuff obviously doesn't matter as much, but you know, their podcast actually has some pretty decent quality to it. And I kind of liked what they were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, you know, it's good to see that, you know, even though we're not necessarily the only ones doing it, we got some people out here, you know, kind of doing the same thing we're doing, kind of trying to advance up there. But they went to Comic-Con, they did a Comic-Con review, and I'm just ready for us to get there.
One day. How many episodes were they into?
Oh, they're at like 90-something episodes.
See, we got to get to that point. When we do, it'll be that time.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm excited. When we get there, we get there. I'm super hyped. But they've been doing the podcast for like, I think like 2 years now, I think, which is about 90 episodes, 2 years, 2.5 years, something like that.
Okay. Well, we got a lot to talk about, especially because I was blessed with 2 dubbed episodes of Astro Lost in Space. I can't wait to get in that.
What?
Yeah. Let's get this show started.
Let's go.
Mic check 1 2 1 2.
My sweet waifu.
Is that you?
Mic check. Mic check, waifu. Tell, is that you?
Polo, what's good? What's going on, bro?
Chilling, brother. I'm so excited about today's episode. Episode 8 of Mic Check Waifu. Welcome to all. Thank you all so much for listening. I feel so damn good about these episodes of shows that we watch this summer season.
Man, I'm telling you, these summer episodes, summer season episodes are hitting hard.
So hard.
And I even got an older anime from like 3 summers ago that I just picked up, and I'm kind of low key hype about. Can't wait to talk about it.
Wait a minute. What?
Yeah, right? I'm like, yo, I've been slacking. I need to get my life together.
So if this is from 3 summers ago, let's start off with that then. What is it?
So in the Facebook group, Mic Check Waifu, my boy Chris Kennedy, aka IC Dots on Instagram, he sent a status, and he said, "You guys should check out Bungo Stray Dogs. If you haven't already, it's like a more mature fairy tale or One Piece, and the character Daze might be a top 10 of all time character, right?"
Whoa.
And I was like, okay. As soon as he said that, I said, I'm gonna check it out right now. I literally just watched the first episode like an hour ago.
Oh damn.
And I gotta tell you, overall, the art style, the sound design,
Another one with the sound design.
the characters in general all seem to have like very compelling and interesting like just actions. Everything they do is interesting. But yeah, it's super dope. It's basically about like this organization where they all have like these supernatural powers, but they're detectives, so they go around looking for murders and other things going around the city and solving these cases and using their supernatural powers to fight other people with supernatural powers. Our main character didn't know he had supernatural powers, and there's this man-eating tiger going around, and it's essentially following him everywhere. He gets kicked out of an orphanage because the man-eating tiger destroyed their crops, ate all of their livestock, that kind of stuff, right? So they kick him out. He has no idea why he got kicked out, and he basically said, "Okay, the next person I see, I'm going to rob." And this is actually pretty funny. This is like one of those comedic beat moments where you're like, okay, yeah, definitely. He's like, the next person I see, I'm going to rob them for everything they have. So he turns around because he hears someone coming past, and it's a dude on a motorcycle, zoom past. He's like, okay, that was impossible. There's no way I could have did that. Then the next person that walks past is a whole platoon of like military personnel. And he's like, I can't imagine military personnel all carrying like their wallets on them. So it makes no sense for me to go like and rob them, right? And then he hears another person like struggling. He turns around, he sees a man floating upside down in the water. And I'm like, okay, cool, right? Like, okay, he about to try. He not gonna rob this dude. He's like, I can't rob him, obviously. He's already in the water. And he's trying to keep himself from going to like save the dude life. He goes and saves the dude's life and finds out the dude tried to commit suicide. And he's like, thanks for saving me. And basically is scolding him for saving his life. Turns out this is the dude that's looking for the supernatural people. I don't want to give too much information, but definitely first episode was a banger.
Just added it to my watch list.
Yeah. A solid like between like I would say for a first episode probably like an 8 waifus out of 10.
Damn. That's huge. That is huge. Okay.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. I appreciate you for sharing that with me because bruh is clean. And that's obviously just the first episode. On my anime list, it has a 7.8, which I think is pretty solid. Yeah, I think it's pretty solid. So I would say definitely worth the watch. I'm on one episode in. It's got 3 seasons and a movie. Come on, man. That's obviously worth watching.
That's juicy, right? As a matter of fact, I saw. Is it a season going on right now?
I think so because it's being heavily advertised on like Verve right now.
Yeah, okay. I saw it pop up on my Verve, but I never even gave it a look. Wow, appreciate that, Chris. Another quick listener thing. Shout out to Connor for saying he just finished Classroom of the Elite. He said it's really good. It just keeps getting better. I hope they could do another season. But they covered 3 novels in one season, and it was only 12 episodes of that. So the likelihood of them doing another season anytime soon is probably not. But my God, dude, if you still haven't watched Classroom of the Elite, you have to watch it. It's so good. That also has one of my favorite main characters too, just because of his demeanor, his chill demeanor. I always like those chill demeanor main characters.
I personally do too. You know, like we all like that chill dude who can kind of figure things out, but also has that either goofy personality or like, just a overall good dude. You know.
Yeah. Okay, so like I was saying earlier at the beginning of this podcast, Astro Lost in Space on Funimation gave me 2 dubbed episodes.
Let's go.
I'm on episode 3 of Astro Lost in Space. And dude, you did not tell me. You didn't even give me a little hint that there was going to be mystery elements in this damn
what
show.
was I supposed to tell you? Why was I supposed to tell you?
I'm glad you didn't tell me that. This show just got to be easily like, oh, it's so hard to say this. Okay.
It's not hard.
It's
just
not
say
hard.
it.
It is. It's okay. You know what? I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna do it. I'm not gonna commit. I'm afraid of commitment. I'm gonna put it at tied for first place for this summer season of anime.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be tied for first place. I can't determine which one I like more. Wait till I get to episode 4, I guess, because clearly Fire Force is still like it's gonna be hard to top Fire Force.
But you haven't seen episode 5 of Astro Lost in Space, bro.
See, that's what I'm saying, man.
Oh man,
Okay,
I can't wait. So just give me a refresher. What happens in episode 3, bro?
Episode 3, episode 2, they get to episode 2, they get to the planet.
Yeah.
That weird planet with that flying creature, and then that's when we're kind of like introduced to figuring out that there was somebody that actually destroyed the communicator, and that's happened after they got on the ship. Yeah. So now these 8 students have to figure out which one of the 8 students is sabotaging this trip for them to go back home.
Yeah, who's the traitor amongst the people?
Exactly. They also learn that from the little one who pronounces stuff a little bit differently. They figure out from her, basically, they wanted to illuminate, but what she actually meant to say was eliminate all of the students. So they were sent out on this school camping trip to essentially be eliminated. All these group of students was put together to be eliminated in like one fell swoop, i.e. hence where probably the orb came from and why the orb tried to send them out into space. So, I mean, they just happened to get lucky and find that abandoned ship. But now we're trying to figure out like which one of these students is actually on board trying to sabotage it. And it's fucking killing me, bro. It's killing me because I love all of these characters. Like every last one of them I love so much.
So I got 2 things to say.
Yeah.
One, this is the episode where they officially announce Kanata as the leader, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. For the second time.
So he's officially the leader. Like no one's disagreeing with him anymore because he saved a little munchkin girl.
Yep.
But who do you think is so far like the shadiest person in the show?
It's 100% probably would be the girl that can't do anything right. I don't even remember her name, but
yeah, that is Yanhua.
Yeah. She seems to be like up to no good, but they kind of went a little bit into their backstory. And mind you, when I say this show does pacing so well, I never seen a show does have this many main characters and they all like introduce their backstory so good, man.
Yes.
It's not too long of a fucking flashback like another anime we're going to talk about later on today called Dr. Stone. It does it so right and it makes me so happy, man. Like it's just it moves, and it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop moving while giving you character development at the same time.
I can't wait until you get to where I'm at because, bruh, this episode, I'm so ready to talk about it, and I can't wait till you get there because in episode 5, a little bit of shit hits the fan.
See,
just a little bit.
That sucks that we're not on the same episode because we can't really.
We can. We got 2 weeks until we get there, but
hopefully you keep giving me 2 episodes at a time.
Yeah, I'm patient, bro. I'm patient, but I'm telling you now, like I think with a little bit of stuff that hits the fan, because there's still so much confusion.
Yeah,
and that's the good part is that like they never give you enough to leave you like what's gonna happen. They never give you enough, and it's like like this is such good writing.
Yes, man.
And it's not like how like everyone loves anime right now with all the fighting, all the constant intensity. This has the intensity without like
no fighting.
Yeah, without superpowers and banging people's head against stone walls and stuff like that.
Man, it's crazy because if you go back to what was it, episode 4, the summer release episode, we just kind of glanced past it. It's like, we're not gonna watch this. I remember both of us like, yeah, we're probably not gonna watch this because it just looks crazy.
And I had to tell you, I'm gonna give it a chance.
Yep, we did say that, and here we are. It ended up being
in
the
love.
top show.
In love.
The show is way too good, man. I can't believe how good it is actually. And like I said, I done fell in love with these dub voice actors,
right?
And actresses. They're phenomenal.
The year is 2061 when space travel is now possible and commercially viable. Like, come on, man. Like at first I'm like, come on, that's cool, you know. Like it's commercially viable. We're gonna fly in space now. And I was like, I'm not even looking at that anymore. But you actually watch the show and it's just like it's so good, and I'm so happy. Like,
these characters, man, you definitely fall in love with them. So if you're not watching Astro Lost in Space, even though we spoiled a lot of it, you still have to watch it because we can't do no justice to how they develop these characters. Seriously, they're really, really good.
Definitely.
God, that show is just so great.
I'm glad. That's a good one to start off with because there's just like it gives you so many decent elements. I'm telling you now, there's gonna be like a couple of like slice of life moments, and those feel good.
I'm down.
Those feel super good. There's chemistry between multiple different like groups of the characters. I can't wait till you get to episode 4 because even episode 4 is like enlightening. Episode 5 is enlightening, and all of these things are going to give you like a different perspective, and it's surprising in general. Like every episode has surprise and like intrigue to it.
I don't know who wrote it, but they need to write all of my anime from now on. Because
You're right.
I can't believe how did you, again, these are 8 different characters that you're trying to have the audience, us, get to know. And I'm really intrigued in getting to know them. Like we know a little bit about everybody so far, but still not enough, at least in episode 3. Like I know about Raphael and her sister and how they became sisters in that situation. We know about the captain and his situation with him going on an actual camping trip with his teacher and his teacher dying and them students needing to basically go through a survival scenario.
Yeah, we know that Zach's like the smartest dude around.
Yes, exactly. Like he can do so much. And the purple hair guy, I don't really remember him too. He's kind of forgettable. He's the most forgettable. His name is Luca, but he's the most forgettable, but he still has use. Like he's the crafty one of them all. He's
the one who is going to be doing most of the like quick engineering if they need to get something done really quick, like tools and whatnot. Right. We know that LaCroix, right? LaCroix, you know, like he is the character that seems to have like a decent amount of charisma, but he also is really good with like plants and wildlife and just random facts. Like he has information on deck. He has it all.
Yep. And he became second in command, which was dope too. Because I thought he should be, even though Zach is up there, but he's pretty dope.
Yeah.
You got like my boy Ugar, who's the African American voice actor in the dub version, whose voice is so dope, man. So dope for that character.
Your boy Ugar Zweig is going to be the the action guy. He's the hunter. He's your hunter. You're exceptionally talented. Like sharpshooter.
So, speaking of that, at the end of episode 3, we figured out he actually crafted a real gun. So I'm interested to see where that go. Oh man,
no commentary.
There's no spoilers.
No spoilers.
I love that show, man. Astro Lost in Space is worth the watch, man. 100%. If you haven't already. What's next, man? You want to go to?
I was gonna say really quick.
Yeah.
On the Facebook group, my dude AJ from North Carolina, he shared a picture of a adult Naruto throwing a punch and getting blocked by Goten.
Wait, what?
Yeah, man, it's so funny. Like, we got everybody kind of trying to figure out who could win between Naruto and Goten, and I'm just like,
that's an easy one for me.
You think so?
Because if it's kid Naruto, then it's Goten.
No, it's adult Naruto though.
Oh shit.
Hokage Naruto.
Oh fuck.
Naruto that blew a hole in the moon.
See, but they transitioned teleporting. Yeah, Goten for sure.
I would say Goten don't have instant transmission.
But they can
He can
they
go
can
Super Saiyan.
Yeah, they move so fast. To ninjas, they're teleporting, and ninjas can move fast too, but they ain't moving like anybody from Dragon Ball Z. So you can't compare it to. I don't.
Akira Toriyama did say that Naruto, in his personal opinion, would be stronger than a lot of the Dragon Ball characters.
How Sway?
That's what Akira Toriyama said. I ain't say that. But he said he wouldn't be stronger than, like, obviously, like Goku and whatnot. Goku, Vegeta can't beat them. But I do believe that he put them at, like, at least Piccolo's level. And,
no way.
And possibly Gohan's.
None of those people. No.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, Naruto can move at the speed of light.
Can he?
Yeah. He can teleport, basically, essentially, with his full cloak transformation. Because his father had instant teleportation, but running is faster than his father's teleportation.
He needed a shuriken to do it. Like it's ninja tools they need to do what they do.
Naruto don't. Naruto just transforms. He can just move at the speed of light at will. He don't need the shuriken.
Nine tails.
Yeah,
but I still don't think he could fuck with a Kamehameha blast. Like I don't see it.
I get it. But he put a hole in the moon. That's all I can say. Like I think easily. I think it's a good competition. I don't think he can beat Goku.
All right, so almost all the Dragon Ball Z characters can fly, right?
Naruto can fly.
He can't fly though. Like actual, he can glide.
He can fly in QB form.
I don't know. This is a little wishy.
I think he can beat Goten. I don't know about Gohan. I think Gohan will give it to him.
Nope. Gohan wear glasses and do taxes and shit.
Goten can't beat Gohan, so I think Gohan will give it to him. I think Trunks will give it to him. I don't think he can beat Trunks or Gohan.
I don't know. It's so hard to compare because of the different powers these people have.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, I was about to say something. I was about to state the whole obvious. I was about to say it's like two different worlds.
Oh, wait, is it?
But you know what I mean? Like it's so hard to even compare the two.
Indeed. So what was we watching next, bro?
We obviously gonna probably go to do you want to go to one that you watch and I'm not watching? Like your
Yeah. I love to do that.
Yeah.
So Lord El Malloy.
Yep.
I told you last week the episode kind of disappointed me.
Was poop. Yeah.
Disappointed me. This week episode was better.
Don't sound that much better though. Was it?
I'm not saying it was like ground shaking, anything like that, but we got some really dope information, right? So you know how in original Fate series, Fate Zero, Fate Stay, you got the sword or the blade wielder, right? We find out that the sword wielder, she is King Arthur, but she has to pretend to be a guy because King Arthur is supposed to be a man, right?
The use, yeah.
But we find out that his assistant is actually a descendant of King Arthur. She wields King Arthur's spear, not sword, which is a legendary weapon that is ridiculously powerful. And not only that, she also has an item that can summon Ryder or Alexander the Great. And it's like he literally has. If there was another Holy Grail war, he has like 3 things in his possession that would like help him win by landslide.
Oh damn!
Yeah, it's like unless Gilgamesh pop up.
Yeah, right.
But this episode was actually real clean. Like, the information was good. I really enjoyed the information they got. They solved the case. The only thing, and this is the only part that made me feel like it wasn't that good, was that this case was basically solved in the same manner as the previous case, where it wasn't more or less like the fact that someone who they were investigating did something wrong. It was the fact that the house was the conduit or weapon. And I'm like, I can do that maybe twice, but if you do it again, where like an actual location is the weapon, is going to be an issue. But they also did it back to back, and it kind of made it very like, okay, this is unappealing. But they gave us a fight scene. They kind of gave us some backstory as to like the magical eyes and fairy eyes, how they work and whatnot. So that was really cool. And I think that in general, they just the fight scene was the best part. We got them fighting a bunch of what they call black dogs. They're basically made out of lightning, and the black dogs are made out of like what happens is essentially when the thunderstorm is going on and a child or someone is killed, it makes an artificial fairy. If they're not a child, if they are a child, they become a real fairy. But if it's an adult, it makes an artificial fairy, and they become these black dogs made out of lightning. So they fought these black dogs. Fighting was low key great, and we got to see like King Arthur's spear in action, and I mean it was nice. Wasn't the best animated fight in the world, but it was something that like kind of made our mouth water a little bit, made us want more.
So the pacing was better though, like it was.
Yeah. Oh, it was so much better than that last episode. That last episode was like a solid. I think what did I give it like 2? Like I gave it a 3.
3,
yeah. This last episode, I give like a 6.
Okay. So it's slowly starting to pick it up. Now, is this quickly turning into like your most disappointing anime of the summer season?
I mean, the most disappointing one is the one we stopped watching.
Yeah, of course.
But
Demon Slayer. No, it's not Demon Slayer. I'm tripping. Demon, whatever the fuck.
Demon Lord Retry.
Demon Lord Retry.
I still have expectations. Mm-hmm. I have hopes, but at this point, it's not like my hopes are the highest because I'm so like engrossed in other things that I can deal with this not being 100% like my favorite. But I'm expecting them to lead up to a big end, but we'll see how that goes.
I was about to say, because this was your most anticipated when we did the summer release episode.
Yeah, but then we hit Astro Lost in Space. Fire Force is getting really good. Demon Slayer's solid. We just got so many good things right now.
So that's what I kind of wanted to go back to. So I went back to a show that I was watching. I think it was last year. I can't remember the name of it. That's how important it is. Oh, you know what? I remember. It's so it's Is It Wrong to Pick Up a Girl in the Dungeon? But this is the second season. I watched the first episode of the second season today, and watching it just made me remember that anime wasn't as good as I thought. Like it just compared to everything that I've been watching lately, this one was just, maybe it was just because it's the first episode of the second season. I couldn't remember half the things until half the episode was over. So I'm like, wait, who was that? Who was that again? Oh, and then I started putting it all together slowly but surely because they did a terrible job of just introducing you back to the character. Because again, it's been like 3-4 years before the season 2 came out, but it's not. Once I remember who everybody was and actually going on, this show is not as good as I thought it was. Like season 1, that is. So
funny thing is, in the beginning of this podcast, you told me to go and watch it.
Yep. Mm-hmm. That was one that I recommended. But this summer season has completely threw that off my recommendation list.
Yeah, just take 100%. That off the list. Uncheck it.
You can miss it. You'll be just fine. It's not a must watch as I thought. But I can admit it. It's not great. I'm going to continue watching it, but I'm not going to force myself to watch the subs. I'm going to wait till the dubs pile up a bit and then maybe watch it one of these days. But other than that, I want to go to my slice of life for the summer.
Let's go. All right. I'll talk about my slice of life. I'm going to be watching this too after you show me that, but go ahead.
Okay. So, I was watching Would You Fall in Love with a Cutie if she was a pervert or whatever the fuck that long ass title is. I'm tired of saying it, goddammit. It's a good show. But this is I think I'm on episode 4 or 3, and it kind of picks up where it left off, where he figured out that this one chick was the freaking wants him to be a slave. So after that, this is kind of the episode of the repercussion episode, basically.
Yeah.
So now he has these two girls. One wants to be his pet, which is Sayuki, and then the other girl wants him to be her slave, which is Yuika. Now, both these girls are coming head to head with each other because they both know each other's secret, and they're like, "No, he's mine, and they start fighting over each other. But this episode is just basically him like saying, "Look, I'm still upset. I don't know who this Underella is."
Under my umbrella.
Exactly. I still don't know who this girl is, and I don't want any of this. I don't want any fetish. And I actually figure out this episode that he is actually looking for love, like because Yuika attempts to kiss him, and he's like, "This isn't right. This doesn't feel right because this isn't love. So I don't want my first kiss to go to something that isn't love." And he's like freaking out, and the other chick Sayuki is like, "Hey, let me be your pet," and blah 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 blah. And she attempts to kiss him. He's like, "No, this doesn't feel right. This isn't love." So he avoids that. Then it comes to the point where they're both together, and he's tied up into a chair because the one that wants him to be a slave tied him up to a chair. Was about to and was trying to have this like intense moment of taking his first kiss, and he's like not down for it. Another girl that was in that room that may have left her underwear pulled him out of it. And this episode was like, it went by so fast because of I don't know how it did, but it went by so much faster than the other ones because one of the other girls pulled him out, and her name is which actually is my favorite character. I wrote about it on Twitter. Unfortunately, they don't have her picture on my anime list, so I can't. I'm gonna say her name is Mayo, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong, but one of the girls pulled him out and say, "Hey, I don't want you around all these girls. You got to quit being so nice to these girls." And he's like, "Oh, so could this be her?" Because she's actually being nice to him, but she's really one of the ones that give him like these dirty looks because he's always so nice to all of the girls, and she hates that shit. But she's like every time she sees him, she blushes and whatnot. But she like, whatever, this guy, he's just a guy with a harem. But she's like finally sick of it and was about to confess to him when the episode ends. And that makes me so salty because it's probably in the next episode going to be another crazy ass fetish. And I hope not, because this is my favorite character.
They got to leave you with a cliffhanger.
I know, man. She's definitely one of the best waifus in the show, like the best waifu in the show. I wish
this waifu is 10 waifus out of 10.
Yeah, she's 100% 10 out of 10 because like she's another one of those super chill characters who's just like, kind of distant away from him, but she wants to be close to him, but she see all these girls around him. So she's like, all right, kind of the jealous type, but it's the cute kind of jealous. You know what I mean? It's not the absurd kind of jealous like the first two are. But I'm looking forward to that show continuing. I almost pushed through and went to the subs. Because there's 5 episodes of the subs and 3 episodes of the dubs, but I'm like, you know what? Nah, I'm gonna stick with these characters because I like the voice acting.
Oh yeah, bro, you good. I wouldn't even necessarily do all of that.
What's your slice of life? I'm really interested in hearing this.
So we've already talked about the first episode of this one, but it's the how heavy are the dumbbells you lift?
Oh yeah. I forgot.
And
damn.
I guess I don't know if they consider it slice of life, but they're giving it comedy and ecchi on my anime list. Now, I only just watched the next episode, the second episode, not my continuation after the first.
Oh, okay.
And the really nice thing is that, I'm getting into working out, and I've been doing 100 pull-ups every day for a while now. And like this show is kind of one of those things that they give you information on working out, information that I'm just now recently finding out other than this anime. But it's really informational for people who like are really interested in working out. They even give you like a workout that you can do at the end of the show. And it's like, wow. Yo, they legit in Japan trying to make sure their kids stay healthy.
Wait, so this is useful information.
Yeah, it's like it's all factual, and they're like at the end of the episode, all they say is, "Hey, this is an episode. This is something you can do. If you can't do push-ups, here you can do this." And they show you how to do a plank. They give you the exact perfect stance or a form to do a plank, which is basically the exact perfect form to do a push-up. and it just gets you going. They say 30 seconds, keep your core tight, all that kind of stuff. I'm like, yo, this is like on point. And this episode, all it really was that our main character Sakura found out that because she started going to the gym to lose weight. Mm-hmm. She actually finds out that she gained weight, but she's slimmer, and it's because she's putting on muscle mass, right? And it gives you the information that like if you didn't know before, this is just information that you will now know. And it's like it's just low key cool. Like like I'm not asking for a lot. Like I'm just asking to turn on an anime and chill. That kind of thing. I finished my 100 pull-ups during this first episode, this second episode. It's 23 minutes. Dope. I did my 100 pull-ups, and I was like, "Oh, this is really cool." And I actually, I had it on in English. I watched it in dub.
Oh, let's go! Wow.
Yeah,
well, because you're working out, so obviously,
yeah. Now, I had it on in dubbed, right? And I listened to it, and then I'll go back and watch it in the subs just to see. And bruh, it's just everything is so different in subs. Like,
is it really though?
Yeah, I think I would be okay if I watched it in dub and had the English subtitles, because at least I get both translations.
Yeah, so that's a topic that I want to save for next week. I'm gonna put this out here now.
I asked the group chat.
Yeah. Oh, you asked them already?
Yeah, I asked the Facebook group. They gave me a response.
What'd they say?
So when it comes to, I said, so what's everyone's opinion? Are we preferring subs or dubbed? We have 9 votes for dubbed anime and 21 votes for subtitles.
Okay.
But
sounds about right.
At least like 12 people said they do both.
Exactly. Okay. So
which I'm one of those people who do both.
So this is my thing. This is a full. I want to do like a set week where we.
Yeah, we can save it for next week.
Yeah, so a full topic of where we both watch 3 or 4 shows, both subbed and dubbed. Like some of them we can find where we could just watch both of them. Like, so let's say if it's, for example, episode 5 of Fire Force, watch it subbed and then watch the dubbed and see what we think. Because when I was flipping back and forth between subbed and dubbed on some shows just to kind of see, there is essentially almost no different, minus like the wording of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So sentences can be said backwards in Japanese via the subtitles. They're just put forward in the English dub. So that's really the only difference I saw. But I
will say the only thing that I saw that 100% made me feel validated in my idea that I prefer subs. And like I said, this doesn't take away my opinion of people who prefer dubs, but I sent you the clip before, and this isn't the only clip. I'm going to talk about 2 different clips. The one clip was one of my favorite anime battles is a Pokemon episode. Yeah. Ash Greninja versus Mega Sceptile, and in English they have not even the same music is licensed for it, and the music to me in English is so much worse. It doesn't get me hype. It doesn't make me feel any emotion, and it's just like I'd rather watch it in Japanese. Even if I didn't have subtitles, I would much rather watch in Japanese. But then I also watched My Hero Academia, the muscle fight. Yeah. I watched that in sub versus dub, and I feel like the last part where he does a scream was better in dubbed, but they actually cut scenes. They cut scenes out when he was fighting muscle that were in the sub. Like he doesn't reach like All Might does and says, I'm going 1,000,000% and then throws a punch. He literally they cut that part out.
Really?
And I'm just like, y'all literally are erasing scenes from it or removing parts because you don't have it in sub. And I'm just like, that kind of bothers me a bit. And that's one of the things that draws me away from dubs. But I feel like the correlation is it depends on the show,
Right. Yeah, if it's a dub version, I'm gonna watch that first. So I don't really notice if they cut anything out. But like, did it Was it that essential?
Well, it kind of is a callback to when you watched My Hero Academia, I'm assuming,
Of course.
right?
Yeah.
All right. So in the first season, All Might goes all out. He says he goes above 100%. He reaches for the light. He grabs it and says plus ultra, and he throws this punch. Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's super hype. He knocks a Nomu into the sky. We don't even see it. We'll see where it lands, how hard he hits it. Midoriya does the same thing, but instead of being able to grab, like he reaches for it, he can't quite grab it. He closes his hand and he just goes 100% or 1,000,000%, and he pushes, and that's when he actually gains the power to push muscle back. He had to like do that like mind reach for that 1,000,000%, and he's able to overpower muscle and throw him back. And it's like, to me, that extra piece made it more like emotional and more hype. Because I remember watching that scene, I stood up and I was like, let's go. And in the dub, like the part that made me say let's go was more or less the last part when you hear him scream, not
and that's
in the middle of it.
That's what I was going to say, because Japanese versions of shows have so much more camp or corny to them. So I thought maybe that could have been it, but it doesn't sound like it. It doesn't sound like it.
Yeah, and it's really only
it wasn't kind of important.
Yeah, it's really only like a 3-second clip. But to me, that 3 seconds is like almost imperative to like the intensity and the power of the shot.
I was about to say, because I fucking 100% felt that emotion during that fight. And I would never forget it. Like, that's one fight that I will always remember forever, because of the emotion that was put behind it, because of where they play that song that we talked about in that theme song episode.
Right.
Yeah.
Just you wait for this next season. There's going to be a way better fight.
No, I can't wait.
Oh my God, I'm so hyped. The manga was so good.
Speaking of fight, let me go ahead and talk about that Black Clover fight that you were so hyped about.
Oh, come on. You better.
I watched it in subbed, and then I had the opportunity to watch it in dub because it came out a week later. It wasn't that great to me.
Oh.
Now, it wasn't as great as that what's her name? Melodiona?
Yeah, Fuego Marileona. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't as good as that fight. And that's why I'm like, because all it was okay, this is what it was. It was a bunch of flying around and missing. That's all it was. Everybody was just missing each other. The animation was halfway decent, because it was, some parts was animated, some parts wasn't. Like if you were flat, it will flash sometimes. Like when he would miss his time spell, it would flash and his face wouldn't be drawn on. It'd just be a blank. It'll be a blank sheet of a person. And then the same goes for the for Licked. Like it wasn't that impressive to me. It was just a bunch of moving around and missing each other until that last moment where he got that light sword off in him. That's when I was like, oh shit. That's when I felt something, because the way he had to do it was fucking genius for Lick to do it, because he sacrificed literally the entire kingdom, almost the entire kingdom. No, it was the entire kingdom. What wasn't it?
Yeah. Lit had a sword above everyone in the entire kingdom.
Everyone in the entire kingdom. And I'm like, holy shit. Now this is what I'm fucking talking about. And as it was going down, that build up right there was the best part of that episode. And I'm just like, holy hawking shit. No. And then he saves it and then gets that slash off. And I'm like, yeah, that was pretty great.
Yeah. Now, I mean, I get it. I understand that. Now,
there wasn't much to it.
I will tell you that much of the anime community who saw that episode was mad hype.
I know. They all disagree with me. I can feel it. I can feel them listening to this with the stank look on their face.
We want them to disagree, right? We want to have some we want to have some difference to us. Now, the reason I liked it was, yes, definitely 100% the fight. And in the manga, it didn't show us all the animation like that. It just showed us that the Wizard King was super powerful, and then he dies because he had to protect the entire land. But that's what I really liked, was that the Wizard King, and to me, you could see it. The Wizard King was more or less warming up. Step by step, he's like, okay, I'm going to blast you here. Oh, I'm missing. I'm going to blast you here. I'm missing. Oh, I'm going to blast you here. I cinched your shirt. I'm going to blast you here. I cinched your hair. And it's getting more and more like it doesn't look like he's trying, and yet he's doing the most ridiculous stuff. He's keeping up with someone who supposedly has a magic that's superior to his. The only one that can actually destroy him is light magic. And instead of him being overwhelmed, he is literally putting him on the defensive. And this is like, to me, it was more or less showing like this is what the Wizard King is. The actual big bad boss. This is the boss. This is the person who is supposedly the end game for humanity right now. Like he could kill everyone in humanity, but he has to get past the Wizard King first. And the Wizard King is making him look like a fool. And that's what I loved about it. Until the Wizard King has to protect the entire land. And it's like, he did what he had to do. You know, and that's where the Wizard King sacrifices himself. And that's what I liked about it, is that, that's what I liked about how well everything was kind of overall directed. Like I felt like it was choreographed well in terms of how the fight was going.
So, I guess they were trying to show that the Wizard King was the strongest in that fight, like you were saying. But my problem is, how did Melanie? I can't say her name. The lion chick, how did her fight look so much better though? Like it looks so much better, like as far as animation goes. Like when she moves, you felt her move, and you saw the impact that she gave when she hit him. I guess it's because and they did say this during the episode, so I guess this kind of makes a little bit more sense now that I'm thinking about it. The Wizard King wasn't trying to hurt the was it the Golden Dawn's captain? Like that
he wasn't trying to hurt Vengeance.
Exactly. So that makes a little bit more sense. But again, it literally was just it was just a body floating, and sometimes his face would be drawn on and sometimes it wouldn't be, and it was just kind of going around in circles with flashing lights. I like that shit where they, like in Fire Force, when they fighting, you see the spins and the kicks and the punches, like and you can hear it and you can feel it. I just didn't feel it. I'm sorry. Might check Waifu Facebook group. Y'all gonna eat me alive for that. But it didn't tickle me.
Hey, like I said, I get it. It was probably my favorite part of the anime so far, and it's literally the only reason I went back to the anime to watch. Mm-hmm. But
are you gonna continue to watch it?
Probably not, because my next favorite part won't be here for like 20 episodes.
Oh, okay. So you're just watching parts.
Yeah, because the only parts I truly care about are what's already basically happened already in the manga. Mm-hmm. Well, I want to see more or less, like, I've already seen it, you know, or read it. So I want to see the important parts, like the big parts actually drawn out and put on the screen. That's what I'm more hype about. So when it gets to chapter 214, speaking of Black Clover, I actually take back what I said though about throwing the whole show away after chapter 214.
Oh yeah, you changed your mind back again?
Yeah, because they explained it, and I'm kind of like, okay, I'm not mad at that anymore. For any of my people who view who reads the manga, you know what I'm talking about. I'm not mad at it anymore. They showed us why. It all makes sense. Polo doesn't know, so
I have no idea what the fuck is going on.
Spam the email.
Like how I was spoiled when I figured out that Vengeance was licked.
Yeah, spam the email. Spam Polo. Let them know what happens in chapter 214.
You all so very much.
Don't hate us, love us. That's what we're here for.
So, just a heads up, Demon Lord Retry is just slightly below from the Commonplace to a World's Strongest, which is interesting because I watched episode 3 and he fought the Scorpion, the terribly animated CGI animated Scorpion.
I told you.
Oh my God, dude. I'm like, as soon as I saw it, I'm like, yep, this is what made Montel say it, because this shit looks gross, dude.
Disgusting.
So bad. But the character is still so dope to me, man.
And the character progression only gets better.
I like the way he's handling this shit. Did he come out the cave yet?
Yes, and it's so good. So like
okay.
Yeah, he comes out and he finds what he's looking for, bro. We'll talk about that when we get there, because that's an important important part.
You said what?
We'll find. We'll talk about when we get to episode 5 because
Okay,
that's a pretty
5.
important part. Yeah,
I might just go ahead and watch the subs. Yeah, I might just watch the subs because it's like it's getting good enough to where I'm like, okay, I kind of want to know what happens. I kind of want, and the voice actors I'm not that attached to, like I am attached to the pervert cutie one.
Yeah, you definitely gotta enjoy it.
Yeah. I get attached to some of the voice actors. Like My Hero, I can never, like, I watched the subs, like when it first came out, I watched the subs and then I watched the dubs. I could never go back to the subs because it's just like Dragon Ball Z. I can never go to the subs of Dragon Ball Z either. God, Goku's voice is terrible, bro.
Now,
it's so bad.
Actually, I was talking about that too, right? And this is my biggest complaint with sub anime. The big shonen anime, like I feel like they choose the worst voice actors. Like Goku's voice actor, obviously is a female.
Yeah.
And she sounds like a woman. And why are we making Goku's voice super high pitched like that? Now in Dragon Ball Super, it is better. He doesn't sound like a little girl.
It's like one octave down.
Yeah, but it does sound better. It's like they edited it down or something.
Yeah, yep.
And then they actually took that same voice actor and made her Luffy's voice actor in One Piece. But I don't know. I don't know if you remember this though. But do you remember One Piece ever being on Toonami?
Yeah, of course.
Luffy's voice actor still sound like an annoying little girl.
Absolutely.
In English, and I'm just like, why did we do this? Can we just like cut this anime off the TV and just and I'm sorry, I take that back. I do like One Piece, but let's be real. The American voice actor and the anime voice actor was horrible. Straight trash.
It's just like Black Clover and Austin's voice, man. His both voices are
so it's the yelling.
Yes, man, it's horrendous. It's horrendous. I think I could tolerate the sub Asta just a little bit more because it's not as high pitched, but fuck, it's bad. Speaking of that, man, let's go to fucking Fire Force, man.
Already?
So, yes.
Okay,
man,
let's do it. Let's do it.
Oh, well, no, we got to go to the ones within first before we go to Fire Force. Fire Force is save a little bit later. That's a little tease for y'all. But the ones within, again, doesn't disappoint. Now, this one, again, this is another show whose pacing is just fantastic, minus episode 2. But the pacing in this show is so good because of, again, the way they're developing the characters. Like, we learned about the Stealth Dude's little sister actually being a part of the beta version of the Ones Within game that they're in right now. And
exactly.
That's the main reason why he was into joining this game. That's dope.
Yeah, we found out he let himself get abducted on purpose.
On purpose, yeah.
But before I say that, the first thing I want to say is, Polo, at some point, I don't know what point it's going to be, but at some point, you got to let episode 2 go. It's objectively bad. We get it.
I can't let that episode go,
It
man.
will be the worst episode of the season.
Dude, I can't let that episode go because it's what knocked that show all the way down. Because if you remember, that was my most anticipated show. That brought me down, man. Brought me down like a dumbbell.
This episode let me see my favorite person in the anime, Yuza Romori, kind of like just sitting back and just watching everyone. And she has this little evil smirk as usual. You're kind of wondering what she's anticipating. Yeah, right. 100% the best. And I loved how, what's our boy name? Onigasaki. Kaikuko.
Mm-hmm.
The sword wielder, the one who fights.
Yeah.
I loved how he kind of told Oshigiri, like, look, you're losing your head. You need to step out for a second. I'll take care of this. And I loved how he handled that, you know? Like, hey, man, you're panicking. You're losing your cool. This is not going to work out the way you wanted to because of that. Yeah. And he handled it. And then even after that, the demon tried to get him. Tried to say, you're jealous of how me and my grandfather are, aren't you? Because you and your family aren't like this. And he's like, okay, that's fine. You could tell he was a little salty, and he still walked away.
Because if you remember, the Stealth Dude said that to him at first, like, hey, you got to keep No, he said that to the fighter dude. It's like, no, we need people who keep their cool in this mission because shit getting real, basically.
Exactly. And even though like he'll never get the information of his sister, if he was to lose his cool, he was going to try and kill that girl, and there's no way to get the information at that point.
And also, the demon the grandfather would have fucking murdered him.
All of them,
just we saw. Point. Yeah, exactly. We saw how powerful he was when he attacked Akatsuki, and Akatsuki almost got his neck choked off.
Yeah, and even Paka didn't really want to fight him. You could tell, like he was more or less like, "Hey, I'll just reset everything."
Yeah, like I can end this quickly. The alpaca said, and I'm like, that made me super curious, like into this mystery because of how Akatsuki talked to the alpaca, and alpaca telling him, "Look, I can't leave
because of a promise."
Yeah, because of a promise, and I'm like, wait, what? And then
what's the promise?
Exactly, and then when Akatsuki started crying, the same thing our favorite girl said. What is he crying for?
What is he crying for? Why is he crying? And it was also really kind of cool to see him do his continuous thing where he kind of lends that helping hand.
Mm-hmm.
And that's always cool. And I kind of feel like that's why he was brought here. You know, he was brought here to be the unifier of the group.
Yeah. And to be honest, I'm so glad that they reminded us that he's the master of escape room games.
Yeah.
Because
and
I totally forgot. I totally forgot about that. Like I'm sitting back like, well, oh yeah.
And I was even going to say, I think that's why he did what he did, right? Because they assumed that he was unconscious when Grandpa had him up in the air choking him, right? But when he was on the ground, he said, "Oh, you were awake during all of that." And he says, "Yes, remember, I'm the master of escape games." He just played dead basically because he knew that, you know, Alpaca was going to come save him. He knew that he's an important piece in this somehow. And now he just confirmed it basically.
Exactly. It's so good, man. I love the way this show is turning out.
And it would be the best if we find out at some point he's just like completely playing the system and he's some kind of like douchebag in the end and he's really not this super nice guy. Or he's just really good at escape games and he's figuring out everybody.
Or he's really the Monokuma of this whole situation.
Right. Oh, it'd be beautiful.
It'd be so sick. Oh man. Yeah, so, it's pretty good.
I was gonna say before we go to Fire Force, because I do want to talk about Fire Force because that episode was fire. Literally. CJ on the Facebook group. She said, brother. Right, a brother from another. Anyone catch that Kengan Ashura on Netflix? And I actually did. I watched the first episode.
Wait, what? What was it called?
Yeah, Kengan Ashura. It now just how like I didn't like the CGI in Commonplace the World's Strongest. Yeah, this is basically all CGI anime, but it was actually much better. Like the CGI was much better than the scorpion and any other CGI creature in that anime.
I'm so glad because that anime was garbage.
Yeah, that CGI and Commonplace the World's Strongest, they need more budget. But hopefully if it continues to do well, they'll get a better budget. But Kengan Ashura it's a fighting anime, and these people don't seem to have any kind of superpowers or anything like that. But it seems like more or less a street fight. And I definitely think it's going to be really good. Like these people train their entire lives to fight one another. Our main character, we see him go up against this business like security guard essentially, and puts the hands to this dude. Like this dude has like this fighting god on his back, super big tattoo. Looks like a Yakuza boss. And he throws the hands at this dude, dislocates his shoulder, and throws him on the ground and shows that this big guy is not really that tough. You don't have to be big to be tough. And then and then this old man is watching the entire fight, and when he walks past, the old man asks him, "What's your name?" And our character, what's his name here? Oma Tokita, he looks at him and he says, "My name is Oma Tokita, and what's your name?" And the old man says, "Yamashita, sir," you know, because he's respecting this dude that he just saw with all this strength. And Tokita is like, "Did you want to fight me?"
One, right?
Yeah, Tokita's like, "Did you want to fight me?" And Yamashita's like, "No, I can't beat you." So Tokita's like, "That's disappointing. I thought you would at least try it," or something like that. And he walks away. And this was actually pretty funny. After Yamashita sees him fight, he goes and like he has sex with a girl. You know, he comes in the girl, all that kind of stuff. You know, he does some pretty explicit stuff because he wants to spread his seed. Basically, he felt like, and the way they describe it is really cool. He felt like he just saw an apex predator and survived. So his instincts kicked in to like preserve life and, you know, breed basically.
Oh,
because he felt like what death was looking at him, and it was pretty cool. Ends up meeting the guy again, and now he has to take care of the dude.
That's crazy. So it's fully CGI from the looks of the trailer.
Yeah, it's fully CGI, but it's not the worst CGI I've seen. It's actually pretty decent. And
yeah, it's super interesting.
Yeah, it reminds me of Baki, which another one of my friends just told me he's gonna read the manga for that, so I'm gonna dive in that soon too.
Yeah, it has like shell shaded look to it. That's pretty dope.
Yeah, it looks, look at that. Like I said, it looks better than the other ones we were talking about.
So I added it to the plan to watch list. Appreciate that, CJ.
Boy.
Oh man, yeah. Anything else you got from the Facebook group?
Yeah, I got. Let me see. Okay, technically I got a couple of little things here, but we're gonna talk about this one. I asked the Facebook group on Friday. So who do we think had the worst tortured troubled story, right? So the person who had the worst tortured and or troubled story, and I gave 3 people, and you could have added if you wanted one. My first person I put in the group was Guts from Berserk.
Ooh,
Ken Kaneki from Tokyo Ghoul, or Natsuki Subaru from ReZero. And who had it the worst and who was the most tortured? I chose not to vote on this one because I didn't want anyone looking at my suggestion and taking that answer. But
I already know who I'm voting for.
Guts won with 11 votes.
What?
Yeah, Ken Kaneki got 2 votes, and Natsuki Subaru got 1 vote.
That's bullshit. Y'all need to watch ReZero. Watch ReZero right fucking now.
Watch it right now.
Turn off this podcast and watch it, and then come back. We'll wait.
Right. We might have to put a link in the description
or something. Because seriously, ReZero is one of the best. It was the one anime that we both had in our top 5 list.
That's what I said. It's literally one of the best anime, and it's not super long. That first episode, it benefits from being longer, and it's worth watching. But like, yeah, I also agree. Natsuki Subaru, he literally, his whole story was like this, like horrible.
Yeah, we're not even gonna spoil it. We're not even gonna spoil it.
I can't imagine sitting through the stuff he sat through. Now, Guts had to sit through some stuff too. Like, I'm gonna be real.
Right, but come on, Guts had the ability to do his thing, right?
Yeah. Like, Guts won by a landslide, but I will also say, one of my friends also commented and said, "There's a reason I won't watch Berserk. That story is notorious for having tortured characters, and there are several tortured characters, but we're only talking about one specifically."
100%. But imagine Guts not being able to defend himself.
Yeah, and
in any way,
even if he could defend himself,
you had to. Dude, no spoilers.
Yeah,
we got it. You have to watch it. Like, we cannot recommend that anime enough. Like, no matter if you don't even watch anime and you listen to this podcast just to support the boys, go watch that show, because that show is definitely one of the most interesting. Not only does it have like slice of life in it, but it has the action. It also has the fucking sadness, and it at one point makes you hate the main character. I know I did when
it makes you hate everyone too. Everyone else too.
Exactly. I hate his choice that he made when that very, very impactful scene happened. And I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It involves one of the waifus of the show. And that fucking killed me, man.
Connor and I actually talked about that specific scene, and he actually said the same exact thing. He was so upset with that, and then how that character basically falls off from the anime from that episode forward. It's like, oh, where you at, shorty? Nowhere. Okay, cool.
Exactly. So definitely watch that show though. Like, figure out a way to watch it. get a Verve account, get a Funimation account. The dub is there. Whatever you just watch that show. It's so good.
All right.
Oh, I got a little amped.
Right. I got two more things from the Facebook. Go ahead. Yeah. Natsuki got one vote.
God damn it. I'm not mad. I'm just
yeah, and that's only because I didn't vote. If I would have voted, he would have had two.
I know, right?
All right. The next one from the group was my boy Rith Dan. He had shared a Super Smash Bros. Anime / Dragon Ball Super opening, right? They did a Super Smash Bros. With the Limit Break opening from Dragon Ball Super. And it made me want to ask the question. I didn't ask this on the Facebook group yet, but I think I should. And I was going to ask you this, Polo. If you had to choose a game to get an anime, which video game would it be? And I think Super Smash Bros. Is a great one. That's not my game I chose, but I do have a game I have in mind, and it's actually kind of hilarious.
A game that should be an anime that should be a game?
A game that should be an anime.
A game that should be an anime. Shit. I'm going to have to go with... I was about to say one that's already won. I would have to say... Fuck, man. I would want this to be live action, but Red Dead, bro.
Red Dead Redemption? That would be great. Yeah. I thought you were gonna say The Witcher.
No, that's already getting a live action, but it's only based off the books.
Yeah.
But an anime would be dope.
Now what I chose, and this is like literally I thought about this as soon as I saw it. I was like, yeah, I would love for Kingdom Hearts to get an anime. And then I was like, oh wait, Kingdom Hearts has a manga. And I was like, wait, so now I gotta choose something else. So I ended up saying Twisted Metal would be dope as an anime.
That's interesting. Yeah.
And I hate cars.
I know, right?
But I love Twisted Metal so much. It was my childhood. I would love to see Sweet Tooth animated, dude.
That'd be sick. That's animated Sweet Tooth. I do think I don't know, it's super hard for me to say that because I play like so many different types of games that I don't think should be an anime. Like, I don't think Black Desert should be an anime. Like,
and that's a hard one to do because I feel like it would follow the Blade and Soul trend.
Yeah, nobody wants that. But when I think about it though, that story, the updated story they got in Black Desert is actually pretty fucking creepy. This black spirit taking over you as an adventurer. You trying to figure out what the hell is going on with that and people getting corrupted and maybe it'll be a good one. Maybe it'll be a better one than Soul ever was.
It'd be dope if they made it like a horror / action.
Exactly. Yeah. It was like a Baki mixed with another or some shit.
Yeah.
It'd be crazy. Oh man. Speaking of another anime, like we need to start doing like a recommended section of this podcast where we just recommend like one or two shows.
100%.
Because I was just talking to Connor on Twitter about it, like because every episode that we mentioned, he writes down and he watched, and I mean it goes to show because he watched Classroom of the Elite. What else did he watch recently? He was watching High School.
He watched ReZero because he recommended it.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's another good one.
He binged that in 2 days, bro.
That's crazy, dude. That's too much emotion for me. I had to split that over like a week.
Right. Be at home crying for what?
I know. I was hit so hard. But yeah, we should do that. Maybe if we didn't have so much anime to talk about, we could do that for sure.
We already recommending 10 anime?
I know, right? So back to the summer shows. Fire Force, man.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God. So we get introduced to the captain of the fifth company of the fire soldiers. And my God, which is a waifu. She's a waifu for sure. But then I saw the type of waifu she was, and I instantly hated her.
Yeah, that's not your kink right there.
No, man. I don't like the girls who think just treating dudes like shit is hot or whatever. Or whatever that weird situation was. It made me uncomfortable. But like, hey, this goes back into the episode before that where they talked about how, the eighth company is like investigating all of the other companies to figure out who's up to no good. And the fifth looking like
they're kind of suspect.
Yeah, they kind of suspect as fuck because of the way she was referring to the Eighth Company like she hates their guts for whatever reason. It looks like her and the captain of the Eighth have like some history that we don't know about yet.
Yeah, they also called him a powerless like pleb basically, and I was like, yo, what's wrong? What's up with that?
True, they treat him like a second class citizen because he ain't got no powers and he's a captain. But yeah, man, I don't know. I think there's something up with this company because it starts off with this guy who's going to trial, and he basically he was a regular firefighter that murdered, what they say, 4 people.
Yeah, he murdered 4 people, and
he just murdered them.
Yeah, we found out that he murdered those people because Arthur and goodness gracious, why am I blanking? Arthur and Shinra get sent to basically get a dog out of a tree. They find out it's one of the 3 mascot dogs, and they ask him, "Why'd you get put up in the tree?"
Right.
And he basically tells them, we are basically getting picked on now because there's a firefighter who murdered someone, and giving them that backstory. And we find out about the murderous firefighter and how he's giving the fire soldiers a bad rap.
Mm-hmm.
So as they're doing that, his trial is going, and he turns into an Inferno.
Yeah, and a sentient one at that. Like, he can still speak. He still have his memories, his thoughts, and he's just basically a normal person, but now has infernal powers, which was insane. So
intense.
So he decides that, okay, now that I have this power, I'm going to kill a few humans because I saved so many. Oh, but this is before that, though. We figure out that he was found not guilty for killing those 4 people, which was baffling to the entire world. And that's why they were picking on the dog, because he got off basically for what they call a psychiatric.
Because he considered himself a psycho, so he got off for being crazy.
Right. So you kill 4 people and just basically get away with murder. And he even said that during his case, like, hey, I got away with it before right before he turned into an Inferno.
And killed the judge that got him off.
Exactly. Right before he turned into an Inferno, though, that noise it made, man. The sound design in this show is so perfect. It's crazy. Yeah. Like it sounds like it blows out your speaker intentionally, but it doesn't have the same hurt. You know what I mean? Like in your headphone, like your headphone isn't actually blown out, but it has that sound effect like it does.
Well, that's because also the ashes came out at that point in time too.
Yeah. Yep. And that's just how explosions sound. And I love it, man. I freaking love it. Every time Shinra fucking takes off or does his spinning kick or whatever,
his breakdancing,
his breakdancing, it just sounds amazing. But I mean, this episode was a lot slower paced, but it still was paced well enough to where you're like super interested in what the heck is going on.
Well, it also gave us like not necessarily lore, but it gave us more insight to how the actual civilians feel about the fire soldiers, right?
Right.
And how their perception of the fire soldiers is being tainted because of what other companies are doing. Not necessarily the 8th company, but what other companies are doing, or 8th squad.
And we figure out that the fire soldiers feels like the civilians are basically nothing. Like the people from the 5th company pushed down a little kid, and it pissed Shinra off. Like, yo, we supposed to be their heroes, and this is how you act. And then that's when he kind of flips out and kind of shows his stuff against them. And they're like, okay, he got some moves.
So yeah, and Hibana, which I have to be real with this. I always think it's dope when there's a character who has some kind of power and she can just say sit, and doesn't have any choice but to like just lay down.
Yeah.
Now that does seem a bit overpowered, but it seems as if she can only do that
if she looks him in the eyes.
Yeah, or she can only do that and nothing else. Like she can't actually do that and attack you.
Right. That could be it. I think it's just like the eyes, to be honest. Like, cause some about her eyes, like, but then again, don't all their eyes like? Yeah.
I think they all have like some kind of glint to them. Yeah, like blue glint or something.
Like the devils turn red. What's his name? The night turns blue or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
So what did you rate this episode?
This episode is a 7 for me, and only because it was kind of slower paced, but I still like the character development, the world development. It's developing kind of like a a shonen like Naruto, like slower now, but I feel like it's gonna pick up because I think this is only 24 episodes if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would give it a 7 as well, but I wouldn't say it's because it's slower. I just gave it a 7 because I enjoyed the backstory, and I think that it had just a decent build in general. It just wasn't, top of
As
the line
action
episode.
packed as the other episodes were. Yeah, pretty dope. All right, let's move on to the next one.
Are we going to do Dark Stone?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. So it was episode 5 of Dr. Stone. Oh, God, Polo. Come on, bro.
Okay.
Come on, bro.
So here we go. This episode goes into 2 parts for me. And the 2 parts starts off with after what's his name? Fucking Sayuka. That's his name,
Tsukasa.
Right? Tsukasa actually does kill Senku, which we thought would have been dope, and it was really dope. But Taiju gets to him and figure out that he's dead, and they're crying and stuff like that. But apparently, Yuzuriha and Taiju had a plan all along to basically escape Tsukasa when he got there. And
I was gonna say I don't think that was a plan they had all along. I think they just kind of came up with that on the spot.
They just kind of came up with that on the spot, and it kind of worked out, right? Like it helped them get away because she threw the black power at Tsukasa. He was like, "Well, what is going on?" He threw up the rock, and then the rock came down and hit the gunpowder, and they were able to escape via, I guess, an incendiary.
Like an explosion. I think it was super cool though, right? Because like, Tsukasa is looking at Taiju as hold up. Like maybe Taiju will attack me since I've broken kind of like this code and Senku is gone. Like maybe Taiju has a reason to attack me now.
Yeah.
So
I might have to fight Taiju.
Yeah, he sees like because he had his back to Taiju at first and walking away, as in he knew Taiju was going to attack him. But Taiju grabs this giant boulder and just slings it in the air, and Tsukasa's like.
The way they evaluate stuff is so fucking dope, man. I just wish this how the show was all the fucking time, man. All the fucking time. If it was like this the entire time, this show would be easily number 1, 10 out of 10. Great, because then it continues.
So that was like the first 2.5, 3 minutes of the show, right? And then it goes into backstory about our favorite character Senku.
Resident sleeper, bro.
Now. I enjoy backstory. Polo does not.
No, I'm not gonna say I don't. I do, definitely do. But it's when it's so poorly paced, it pisses me off.
And so, what would have made the backstory better for you then?
If it was about, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes shorter, because it was literally 15 minutes of the episode.
It was most of the episode.
I mean, and like, okay, the way they could have done it was like it could have been structured way better. Like. You go to what's happening now, that stuff, that action-packed awesomeness evaluation stuff happens, and then they're running away. As they're running away, you go into a flashback for literally 15, 16 minutes of the episode, and then they come back for, what was it, like 2 minutes where they figure out, oh, he has a little piece of stone petrification on his neck. Oh, that makes sense because now we figured out that Senku was messing around with his neck quite a bit intentionally to get Tsukasa to aim for his neck. They figured that out.
I said that.
Which was incredible. Yeah. Which was dope. And then they flash back again and that's it. It's just all flashbacks from the rest of the fucking episode. And that was disgusting the way they did that.
No.
And the backstory wasn't shit that we didn't already know.
I agree though. Like, so they didn't need so much backstory. I was okay with most of the backstory because I feel like it gave us more insight into Senku's actual mind itself, into a little bit more as to who he was. And it even showed us, I think, like, because in the beginning it showed Tsukasa wanting to kind of be friends with Senku, and then, but it did drag on too long. It was entirely too long.
Yeah, that whole Tsukasa, hey, if we would have met in person, we would have been friends. That flashback was 3, 4, 5 minutes long because it
not
just
even
showed,
not even
yeah,
3 or 4.
it just
It was
showed
like,
them everything that they showed in the previous episode, just added Tsukasa in it. And that wasn't necessary. You didn't need that at all.
you're not wrong.
So I don't know. This show is terrible with its flashbacks, but the show is so good. Like when it's being the show,
When it's in the
being,
pacing, the proper pacing.
yeah, when it's being Dr. Stone and just doing the future shit, it is absolutely incredible. Like the characters, like Senku as a character is so great. I even like Tanju as a character. And then Yuzuriya is coming into her own, which I love.
She is more willing to fight than Taiju, which was epic. That she was like, I don't mind hurting someone, because she's a realist. She understands that her personal morals are different than Taiju's. She knows Taiju's not going to attack, but she knows that she can do the attacking alongside Taiju's combination. You know,
right? And that's fucking dope. Again, this show could be absolutely number one. And let me see, what does Dr. Stone have on my anime?
It's an 8.1, almost 8.2.
It's more than Asher Lost in Space. What is going on here, people? This is definitely not better than that show so far. I mean, it could magically become better, but I doubt it.
Yeah, you got to remember, some people probably read the manga too.
That's true. Yep. These are already probably pre-fans, which is understandable because it's probably paced differently too. So who knows? But I can't wait till we start to see who these other characters are, what they're about when Senku wakes up.
Yeah.
And how he's going to plot this out, how he's going to plan it out, how he's going to go against Tsukasa. Because again, they're going to have to face each other again in the future. Like we both can assume that, right?
Yeah, we can assume they're going to have to face each other. They're going to see each other again. And they're going to need better stuff going on. Like they're going to need a fighter, someone who can take on Tsukasa. And Tsukasa's going to probably look for other fighters. So they're going to need someone who's as good as Tsukasa, if not better.
Right.
Because right now, Tsukasa's the apex predator.
100%. He's literally the predator from the movie The Predator.
Yeah.
Because he has that critical thinking too, which is, man, that's a bad combination. The
he's
critical
smart
thinking
and
plus the
strong.
power. Yeah. It's a bad combination. All right. What's next? Is that it? Is it that time?
It's that time.
My favorite time of the show, man. Okay. Episode 18 of Demon Slayer, bro.
Oh.
My gosh. Was this not the best episode that they had?
Bruh. So
what's above this one?
First of all, this is mad hype. We got some callbacks. Just so y'all know, at this point, if you haven't already known, there are spoiler alerts in effect right now. Spoiler alert number 1, spoiler alert number 2, spoiler alert number 3. It's coming in. We spoil it. So starts off with our did it start off with Zenitsu?
Yeah, it starts off with him basically dying on a roof before what was it?
We see his legs shriveled up. Yeah, we see his legs shriveled up and stuff. We see
because he wasn't able to cry, which is awesome.
Yeah,
I enjoyed every little bit of that.
Yes. So it was super cool. The people who came to save him, we see basically him trying to breathe, and he's ready to give up, and he keeps saying "Don't give up," and then he hears "Give up," and we see this like butterfly with his legs.
Oh, that was so beautiful
down on him, right? It was gorgeous.
Ooh, oh my god!
And
dude, do you remember? It was one scene. Sorry to interrupt that part, but it was just one scene where the trees were swaying.
And are you talking about the scene when she was sitting above him?
It was right before she came flying down. It was just the trees waving.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh my god, dude! I rewound that shit. I'm like, wait a minute. And I looked at it again and like, this is beautiful. Just like when the water hit. I'm going to let you continue. Go ahead. Sorry.
But yeah, she drops down on him and sees him like basically struggling. And she has this like stare because her eyes are just solid purple, nothing else. And I'm assuming that most of the characters, like some of the strongest characters, are going to have that kind of look where
emotionless look.
Yeah, they just
what was their rank again? Do you remember?
They are pillars.
They said that 2 episodes ago, and I couldn't remember.
Yeah, they are pillars, and the pillars are what so the old pillars are what trained these people, Tanjiro and whatnot. So these are the strongest people in the Demon Slayer core.
That's active right now? Yes.
Okay. The strongest active people. And I think that was very well proven. But after we see our boy Zenitsu kind of have some kind of relief, the next thing we see is Tanjiro and Inosuke fighting the father, Spider Demon.
Yeah. Which we were right. He isn't one of the 12. I think we both said that.
Yeah.
No, you said it. You thought it was a kid first, and I was like, yeah, I might agree.
Yeah, because they're assuming that the guy is the 12.
The dad is a 12. Yeah.
Yeah, and he tells or Tanjiro tells. Well, no, Tanjiro actually attacks the dad, and they both realize they can't cut through the skin.
Yep.
And
which is crazy.
Right. We see Tanjiro like, I can't do anything. So he says, final and 10th form, strongest form, water breathing. And he goes in and he loses his concentration while Inosuke is like in awe, like he's about to do something amazing that I've never seen before. And he loses concentration and he cuts into this wood and isn't able to penetrate the wood because he lost his concentration. Right. So we're assuming this form is more intense than all of them, and he has to have 100% focus or he can't do it, right?
Yep.
And the father demon grabs him while he's connected to a tree and sends him flying.
Like literally flying.
Yeah, and he says while he's flying, Inosuke, don't die. You have to survive until I get back. You have to stay alive until I come save you.
Essentially, yeah.
And yeah, right. So like that's intense though, right? Like
it was
Tanjiro's like, look, you can't die, and I know that's the only other option.
he was even saying like, this guy is one of the 12, don't die.
Yeah. He's saying this guy's one of the 12, don't die. Inosuke gives it a shot. He goes for the head, tries to fight him.
He actually oh my god, he actually gets his ass pounded. But before he does get his ass pounded, he remembers Tanjiro tells him, hey, don't die, don't give up. So he goes in for a slash at the arm again, puts his sword in him, and then decides to use his other sword to knock the other sword in and basically chops off his forearm. And he's super pumped about that. Now, the demon isn't super pumped about that.
Demon is mad.
Yeah, he's super. I would even call him scared because he runs away. He runs away and then fucking Inosuke decides to use his Bakugan and finds him hiding up in a tree like a fucking cat. But he's not in the cat. He's not in the tree hiding like a cat. He's in the tree shedding his fucking skin to become uber more powerful, like so much more powerful than he was before.
Yeah,
and Inosuke, I thought Inosuke was gonna die, bro.
Yeah. He gets even stronger. He drops down from the tree, and basically Inosuke can't cut his skin.
Nope.
And
can't do shit.
Basically
breaks his swords on him.
Well, first, before that even happens, Inosuke like is at a point like he sees how strong this guy is, and just the aura itself makes Inosuke give up. And this is the first time we've seen Inosuke like feel powerless.
Yep.
You know, just the pure aura, just the pure vibe itself made him say, yep, I can't do this. And he kind of backs down. And he just looks at the sky and it's like he starts to like just say, man, I can't believe. And then he hears Tanjiro's voice, don't give up, don't die until I get back, all that kind of stuff. And he goes in, he's all gusto, and he goes in, he swings his swords, and boom, they break. Boy, you thought you was doing what? Nothing. Not a thing.
He gets fucking is this the point where he gets grabbed too?
Yeah.
Right after the swords break?
Yeah, he gets grabbed.
He gives up. He literally just essentially gives up after his swords break. And then he tries to shove him into the dude's neck.
He does shove him into the dude's neck.
No, you're right. Yeah, they were actually stuck in his neck. And that didn't do shit.
and the spider demon, the father, essentially starts crushing Inosuke's head.
Fuck, dude.
And
that's where
intense.
we get a well-timed flashback that's not 15 minutes long, but we get this flashback that is absolutely beautiful, talking about basically going back to his backstory a little bit. His mom got rid of him because from the looks of it, it looks like she was getting attacked, or their village was getting attacked or something like that. So she tries to save him by literally delivering him to the wild. And what's funny is that he doesn't have really memories because he was the way he was raised, but he does have memories of him making these 3 friends essentially, because the grandmother of that inn that they were at when they were resting and healing became a part of his subconscious, and he remembers what she was saying and what it made him feel and what it meant to him. So that was all flashing before his eyes, and he realized like yo, I don't want to go. I don't want to die.
Not like this.
Not like this. And he's basically fucking getting his head crushed, blood gushing out of his mask. Oh, that was sick, bro. That was so sick.
And like I said, we always say this.
Yeah.
When it feels like a main character is about to die, we're in love.
Yep.
We love it.
Absolutely. And I thought that was it for him. But then a pillar shows up from out of nowhere, which is the same guy who saved Tanjiro
from the first episode.
And I'm like, oh, this is fucking hype.
And so one of the things I noticed about this is that the pillar guy, his sword is black and blue.
Mm-hmm.
So we know Tanjiro's sword is black.
Yep.
But the pillar's guy's sword is black and blue. And he comes in and basically just cuts this demon into 4 or 5 pieces. Super easy.
So graceful.
Water form, 4th form. Doesn't even look like he's taking any time to actually breathe, and just slices through them. Super easy.
It was like a dance, bro. It was so clean. It was like just clean cut, clean, well animated beauty right there.
And this is what the pillars can do, though. Like they can do all of this crazy stuff, and it just takes them, some time to show up. If they show up, they can do work.
I know, but like, why not just have them do everything?
They can't be everywhere, bro.
I know, right? I guess it's only so few of them that it just happens. But my goodness, that shit was so good.
The next super cool part is that once all of that's said and done, we essentially switch back to our boy Tanjiro, who is currently in battle with who we think is actually one of the 12 demon moons. And it's the little boy who he sees the little boy basically striking his sister with his webs, cutting her skin.
Yep. God, that shit was good.
Right?
Heart-wrenching, right?
Right. Disgusting. This is your demon sister, not even your regular sister, but your demon sister, because you guys were born as family members, but now you guys have been turned into demons together.
Right.
And what makes it kind of like sad is like Tanjiro's like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that to her? And he's like, this is none of your business, blah, blah, blah. And the dude is like, I don't even care about you. He's not even worried about Tanjiro. Tanjiro can talk all this stuff that he wants in the world. And he's not even going to pay Tanjiro any attention. And Tanjiro's like, that's not how siblings treat each other. That's not a bond. Your bond is forged. It's fake. Mm-hmm. And he's like, what did you say?
And he was not like, feeling that shit.
What did you just say? You said my bond with my sister is what? I can't cut my sister, and you said it's forced because I cut my sister?
And then right before that, another demon slayer comes on and say, oh, hey, here's a demon slayer that I can make some money from. So let me go ahead and go make this attempt real quick. You know what? No, you sit back. Let me take care of this demon child who's my size. I got this. Don't worry about it. And he goes in for the attack. And then the fucking demon baby child literally cuts him into chunks of demon slayer core. Fucking meat everywhere, dude. And I lost my...
Right. The greatest part about that was like, the guy's just rushing forward and he just pushes his spider web towards him and you just see him fall into chunks. Not even his whole body turns to chunks. It's more or less just his top part.
Yeah, his top, torso, and head.
Just chunks turn to spider web bits. You know, just like it's like, bruh, you thought you were gonna do this. And
that was terrible.
After that, that's when our spider boy basically pursues Tanjiro more, and they actually start to get into the fight. And,
right.
And Tanjiro's repelling, the webs, dodging them barely. Actually, we don't actually see him really do much of like direct blocking the webs.
Right.
More or less like skimming them and moving out of the way of them.
Exactly. Like parrying them and then moving. So if you notice though, after one of the pillar dudes killed the dad, the smell disappeared from the forest and Tanjiro notices it and like, oh, the smell is gone. I can actually sense where the strands are coming from.
Yeah.
And then when he did try to attempt to block it, it literally chopped his sword in half as he was coming in for an attack.
And that's the scariest part because that web is down the middle.
It's down the middle, dude. It cuts it down the middle and then all you hear is whoosh and the fucking episode ends, bro. It cuts off. I sat there and I watched the credits and such,
hoping for anything.
Yes, any sign of on the next episode of it. They give us nothing, bro. They do this every single time.
Just give us something.
What a great episode, though. And I'm not even mad about. See, this is a cliffhanger I'm not mad about. Unlike the beginning of this podcast when we were talking about what was it, episode 10 and 11 and stuff like that. Those cliffhangers were stupid because there was no sense of pacing, no sense of accomplishment, no sense of move forward, if you will, in those episodes. Unlike it was this time. Like we had progression this time and constant action and just emotion. And then it ended at such a beautiful part. And I wasn't even mad. I was mad, but I wasn't mad. You know what I mean?
You can't be too mad.
No, you can't. I couldn't be mad at that because it was such a great episode. This episode 100% is getting 9 waifus out of 10. And the only reason why it didn't get 10 is because I did not want it to end that way.
Polo was about to cry.
I was about to cry, bro. I was like, what the fuck, man?
Oh, that's great. That is great.
So
definitely. I agree with that. 9 waifus, 10 for sure.
So good. Oh, man. Anything else we got? That's it, right?
That's it.
What a great episode. Episode 8. Mic check waifu. You can get it on all podcast services, whatever you choose to listen to it on, any app, any Android app, any iPhone app. It doesn't matter what service. Just search Mic check waifu or go to miccheckwaifu.com and all your stuff is there. Feel free to hit us
Instagrams.
Up. Yeah. Feel free to hit us up on our Twitters and our Instagram. Mine's is at Polo Bornfly on everything.
And mine is King Telliano on Instagram, or not Jen on Instagram, it's King Telliano on Twitter.
Hit us up there. We will appreciate y'all. It's time to wrap this one up. Bye.
Peace.
One way or another.